What if I told you that the Bible most of the world knows is incomplete? That there is a biblical canon, older and more complete than almost any other, that has been marginalized, ignored, and in a way, forbidden by the mainstreams of Christianity? What if I told you that this ancient text not only contains lost books revealing secrets about fallen angels, giants, and the true names of demons, but that it also holds one of the oldest and most authentic representations of a Black Jesus? We're not talking about a modern conspiracy theory. We are talking about the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church, one of the oldest Christian communities on the planet, with a line of faith that, according to its tradition, stretches back to King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba themselves. Their Bible is not a curiosity. It is a window into a primitive Christianity that the rest of the world forgot. In the next 2 hours, we are not just going to open that window. We are going to tear it off its hinges. Together, we are going to explore the secrets of the Ethiopian canon. We will discover why the Book of Enoch, a text that shook the foundations of early theology, was systematically excluded. We will analyze the Book of Jubilees, which tells a version of creation that challenges everything you've been taught. And most importantly, we will investigate the historical, theological, and cultural evidence behind the Black Jesus, not as a political concept, but as an iconographic reality rooted in history. This is not a video for those seeking easy answers. It is a journey for those who dare to ask the difficult questions. If you are ready to challenge your preconceptions and discover a face of Christianity that has remained hidden for centuries, then you are in the right place. Before we dive into this abyss of knowledge, do me a favor. If this type of deep, unfiltered content is what you're looking for, hit that like button right now. And more importantly, subscribe and turn on notifications. Believe me, you won't want to miss a single second of this journey. It's as the only way to support this research and ensure we keep bringing secrets like this to light. Ready? Let's start at the beginning. What exactly is the Ethiopian Bible, and why is it so dangerously different? To understand their Bible, we must first understand their people and their faith. In the heart of Africa, on the high plateaus of Ethiopia, there exists a Christian kingdom that defied empires and withstood the test of time. Their story does not begin with missionaries from Rome or Constantinople. Their founding tradition is one of the most epic and well-known of the ancient world, the story of the Queen of Sheba, whom they call Makeda, and her journey to witness the wisdom of King Solomon in Jerusalem. According to their sacred texts, the Kebra Nagast, or the glory of kings, a son was born from this union, Menelik I, the first emperor of Ethiopia. But Menelik did not return to his land empty-handed. Ethiopian tradition holds that, with the help of an angel, he took from Jerusalem the most sacred object in Christianity and Judaism, the Ark of the Covenant. They claim it has remained in Ethiopia ever since, jealously guarded in a chapel in Axum. This is not just a legend to them. It is the pillar of their national and religious identity. They see themselves as the custodians of a legacy the rest of the world lost. This feeling of being the guardians of the true faith was reinforced by their geography. Surrounded by imposing mountains and deserts, Ethiopia became a kind of natural fortress. While Christianity in Europe and the Middle East was embroiled in theological debates, councils, schisms, and doctrinal revisions, the Ethiopian church developed in relative isolation. This isolation was its blessing. It allowed them to preserve a set of scriptures and traditions from early Christianity that were declared apocryphal, heretical, or simply forgotten by the churches of Rome and Constantinople. The key to accessing this lost universe is their ancient liturgical language, Ge'ez. Just like Latin in the West, Ge'ez is the language in which their most sacred texts are written, and we have tangible proof of their antiquity. The Garima Gospels, 2 illuminated manuscripts discovered in an Ethiopian monastery, have been radiocarbon dated to between 330 and 658. This makes them, potentially, the oldest illustrated Gospels in existence, predating the famous Irish or Byzantine manuscripts. This isn't mythology. It's tangible history that proves the profound antiquity of their tradition. So, we arrive at the heart of the matter, the biblical canon. A canon is, simply put, the official list of books that a religion considers divinely inspired. The modern Protestant Bible has 66 books. The Catholic Bible has 73. The Ethiopian Orthodox Canon, the most complete of all, has 81 books. What is in those extra books? And why were they left out of the rest of the world's Bibles? This is where the mystery becomes dangerous. The most famous and controversial book in their canon is, without a doubt, the Book of Enoch. In Genesis, Enoch is an enigmatic figure. We are told that he walked with God. Then he was no more, because God took him away. But we are not told where he went or what he saw. The Book of Enoch fills that void in a spectacular and terrifying way. It chronicles Enoch's journey through the seven heavens, where he receives a forbidden cosmology, learning the secrets of creation, astronomy, and the final judgment. But the most explosive part is its account of the Watchers. According to Enoch, a group of 200 angels, led by one named Samyaza, conspired to descend to earth. They lusted after the daughters of men, took them as wives, and taught them forbidden knowledge. They taught men to forge swords and shields, the art of war. They taught women to use cosmetics, jewelry, and the art of seduction. They corrupted humanity from within. From the union of these fallen angels and mortal women, an abomination was born. The Nephilim, a race of giants who devoured the earth's resources. When the food ran out, the giants began to devour humans themselves. This narrative offers a much more detailed and sinister explanation for Noah's flood. The flood was not just to cleanse human sin, but to annihilate these unnatural creatures that were polluting God's creation. What's incredible is that this book was not some obscure text. It was immensely popular among early Christians and Jews. It is even quoted directly in the New Testament, in the Epistle of Jude. However, as the Roman Church consolidated its power, books like Enoch, with their strange tales of rebellious angels and complex cosmology, were marginalized and finally excluded, deemed too strange and dangerous. Ethiopia, in its isolation, simply never stopped considering it sacred. Alongside Enoch, we find the Book of Jubilees, sometimes called the Little Genesis. This text claims to be a revelation given to Moses on Mount Sinai by an angel. It retells the story from creation to the Exodus, but it organizes it into a strict divine calendar, divided into Jubilees, which are periods of 49 years. It provides details not found anywhere else. For example, Jubilees gives us the names of the wives of the patriarchs, like Owain, the wife and sister of Cain. More importantly, it gives us an explanation for the origin of demons. According to Jubilees, when the Nephilim were killed in the flood, their spirits were not destroyed. They became disembodied demons, condemned to roam the earth, to tempt and torment humanity until the day of judgment. This is an incredibly detailed demonic theology that was foundational to early Christian thought, but was purged from the Western canon. And this brings us to the most visually striking and culturally significant topic: the representation of a black Jesus. For the Western world, the image of a fair-skinned, brown-haired European Jesus is ubiquitous. But this image is an artistic construct, largely popularized during the Renaissance. It has no historical basis. The Ethiopian Church, however, offers us one of the oldest and most consistent iconographic traditions in the world. And in it, Jesus, Mary, and the saints are unmistakably African. This is not an attempt to make a modern political statement. It is the natural result of a faith that developed organically within an African culture. If you visit the ancient rock-hewn churches of Lalibela, or gaze upon the vibrant frescoes of the Gondor period, you will see a Jesus with dark skin, curled hair, and African features. He is depicted not as a foreigner, but as one of their own. It's a visual manifestation of the belief that God became incarnate for all of humanity, not just for one race or culture. This depiction has deep theological roots. Let's remember their foundational belief, that their kings descend directly from Solomon, who in turn is a direct ancestor of Jesus according to the Gospels of Matthew and Luke. If the royal line of David and Solomon continued in Ethiopia, then Jesus is, in a very real sense, part of their lineage. Their royalty and their heritage are intertwined with Christ's. A black Jesus, therefore, is not just an artistic choice. It is a profound theological statement of identity and belonging to the divine covenant. It is the image of a savior who reflects the faces of the people who have worshipped him for nearly 2 millennia. So, after this journey, we return to the initial question: what is the Ethiopian version hiding? It hides nothing. Rather, it reveals that the history of Christianity is far broader, stranger, and more diverse than many of us have been told. It reveals that texts containing explosive narratives about the origin of evil, the nature of angels, and the workings of the cosmos were once a central part of the faith. And it reveals an image of Jesus that forces us to confront our own cultural biases and to recognize the universality of his message. The Ethiopian Bible is not forbidden because it is false. It was marginalized because it was different. because its worldview did not fit into the orderly and controlled structure that the Western churches were building. But here, in the 21st century, we have the opportunity to rediscover these treasures, to read the stories that were left behind, and to behold the face of a Christ that reflects a portion of humanity that was long ignored. The knowledge we've shared today is just the tip of the iceberg. We have opened a door that leads to endless corridors of history, theology, and mystery. The journey does not end here. If this video has ignited a spark in your mind, if it has made you question, think, and want to know more, then my work here is done. I ask you one last thing. Help me keep this conversation alive. Hit the like button on this video if you've learned something valuable. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you do want to miss our next deep dive into the secrets of history. And most importantly, I want to know what you think. What part of this story impacted you the most? The Book of Enoch, the origin of demons, the iconography of the Black Jesus. Leave your thoughts in the comments section below. Let's read, debate, and learn together. Thank you for joining me on this incredible journey. I'll see you in the next one.